It's late autumn in Barcelona and the weather is not so warm already. We have plenty of rain, and these days I was visiting different interesting architectural building because it was 48 hours open house in Barcelona when different buildings are open to the wide public that usually are not opened, or usually that are you have to pay a specific price, and in this day it is free of charge. And during this visit I decided to why not to share with you some winter vibes, because already it is cooler outside. It is just a perfect moment to draw something winterish. This is why I decided to create this marvelous landscape, winter landscape, and I hope you will enjoy it doing with me. For this, I will use my 300 GSM watercolor pad, Bao Hong. It is 100% cotton. As always, I will use wet on wet technique. And now I will start with the sketch. The sketch is super easy. We are drawing the landscape here, and we have here several trees. Why I said that we use very easy landscape, because I want to spend more time in the painting and not on the drawing, and I want to create beautiful sunshine, beautiful colors in the background, to talk a lot about the aerial perspective, how to draw the clouds, how to paint those in watercolors, and how to create the trees. I'm drawing super easy sketch, so I'm not adding too much. I'm not paying too much attention to these trees. We have some smaller trees, just make sure to have those in your vision. So here in the background we see some hills. These hills are kind of a little bit lost in between the clouds. We will represent these clouds. You will see how beautiful it will get. Because we are painters and not photographers, obviously some of the trees I will make closer. So pay attention that I'm not leaving too much space in between. There are 4 trees and I want to maintain each of those. So add some trees here. And here on the right, I will have 1 tree with a strong stem that it is clearly seen. It should be smaller a little bit. We have several types of Christmas trees, and we will try to represent those. Some of those are do have some more stems, others less. And the tree here. What I will do as well, I will draw some snow here that I have, just to have this small sketch, because this snow we will create some volume and will make those to look pretty on our sketch, on our beautiful landscape. Here in front of me I have one big piece of snow. Those snowballs looks like somebody have been playing around with these snowballs, And now we are drawing. And that's it. Let's get started with watercolors. So first step that I will be doing is wetting the paper, as I usually do. But what I will do, I will wet the paper only till here, only the first part. Here we will work more because we will need to create the sun shining, we will have to create the highlights that we have, and as well we will need to create this feeling of having clouds. We will be painting and then we will need some tissue to dry the work. So first thing, I'm wetting well the paper, and I start with some yellow color. I take a tissue as well, and I start with yellow color. We have the sun over here, and I start to go with yellow. I have as well some orange, some gold colors. We have, don't forget that we add lots of color first, because paper, when it dries, it becomes slightly lighter, and we need to create this difference in colors. And I take some more yellow I need here. I use here, but I also have my sun, and I have the sun. I have to take a tissue and create this small circle of the sun. I will make it bigger. And I have this lighter color, and I take cerulean blue. Cerulean blue is super light in color, and we have it here, but I take a lot because the paper is wet and I need to add more here. Pay attention that I'm not worried of adding color and to have this beautiful difference in color over here. I'm removing the excess of water, and I take some indanthrene blue. Indanthrene blue is super dark, and we use it here at the top. We can add some ultramarine into it to create the transition. So here in between I take ultramarine color. Indanthrene here at the top. Super dark colors. Don't worry of having as dark the color, because later on, once it dries, if you remember, it becomes lighter. I take ultramarine color and apply it here. I will take some ultramarine and indanthrene, so a mix of those, and we'll add it here on the hills that we have here. Why I add it here? Because we have aerial perspective and the hills look like those are in the sky, and we add this effect. And here as well I have some darker color. I'm going over the G as far as you notice. And I'm not afraid of those. I will create some lines because we have white lines, but we add some darker color for the clouds. For the sky, sorry, not for the clouds, that the cloud stays light. And now I will take a flat paintbrush, okay, here you see that the color stays, the paper stays a little bit wavy, and I have to take control of this, that the color is not staying only in one place. What you also can do is move the paper from one side to another, that the color starts to move and to go one into another. Meanwhile, I prepare a synthetic paintbrush. I will use a flat paintbrush to create the highlights. We have some highlights here coming from the sun, and I take my flat paintbrush and with plain water I create these beautiful highlights. So you see, we are removing the excess of color from the work. It is important that we have the paintbrush that is synthetics, because it removes better the color from the paper. And then here we have some clouds, and the clouds, we take the tissue and we start to remove the color. We are not removing everything, but we make it looks like lighter. We create this effect of clouds. As you see, my paper went a little bit darker. I take my Marta Kolinsky and intensify the color. I will take this kind of blue. Ultramarine. And waking up my work. If you feel that the paper is getting dried easy and we have some unpleasant edges, you take some plain water, remove the excess of water and add the color. Meanwhile the paper dries, I will start to work here, and as far as you notice here, the snow we have really warm, and I will use yellow color. Yes, you are right, we don't have, as the snow is white, we do not use usually white colors, but we have some color. If it is a warm color, then we use warm colors as yellow and so on. Here I had on my paintbrush some blue color, and as far as you see, the yellow color is not as clean. I will take some ochre color as well to make those darker. You can take some raw sienna too. I will take another tissue and I will dry a little bit because I think that with raw sienna is looking better. And I apply this on all the surface. And I add some ochre color, some or raw sienna color here. I covered this side with raw sienna, but later on we will work on the shadows. Meanwhile, the work is drying, but before I will add some darker shadow, like some blues. For example, I will take ultramarine color and I will add it here. That this ultramarine color starts to mix up with this ochre color. I leave it here, and here we have this shadow, and as well we have some darker shadow here coming on. Later on each of these we will work later, but meanwhile I will dry the work. I wanted only here to add this blue because I wanted that this color to flow into another. Dry everything with a hair dryer now, and later on we will proceed with another layer. So the work has dried. I have dried it with a hair dryer. It is not perfectly dried, but I didn't need a super dry work. So now I will start working on the trees. And if you notice, on the trees we have here, for example, this tree super warm in color. Instead, this one is much cooler. And I also have some white colors of the snow. How I do it? So I take some green color and in the thin blue color to make a very dark color of green, and that it stays cool enough. And I start to paint it. I think that I will add some burnt sienna first, because still we have some lighter color and in the where the sun is coming. So for example, here I see some warmer color and I take burnt sienna and I make it here. Later on I will add more cooler color. I decided to make it warmer. At the beginning I thought to make it only cooler enough, because here we have very few light. But then I decided why not to add more color and to make it more interesting. So we add some burnt sienna to the tree. Here I'm not adding too much color because we have already super dark color. And I'm coming back to my green and in the serene mix of colors, and I add on this side as well here, because it is not only burnt sienna but also green with indanthrine, and I add it here. So here we have Then we have smaller trees here. I make a mix of raw sienna and Titian red to add some colors here, because we have this Christmas tree really warm in color, and I want to preserve this warmth here. Here instead I see that the color of the green is warmer, but still it's not too warm. I will take olive green color and will mix it with green. And now I will add the mix of that I was doing here, green with Indian blue. And I will add to the darker shadows, obviously here where it is darker. I took burnt sienna, and now I will add some green. And here these both trees I will use only in the serene blue. I will add some green. So I think that I will use more green within the serene blue. I'm coming back here as I feel like I need darker colors and to create some more contrast here. Okay, I have painted earlier very dark shadow. I will increase the shadows that we have here. I take ultramarine blue color and I paint here this shadow, and then I add it here. So all the darker shadows I will add where I see those in need. Here in the background of these snowballs, I will use ultramarine and a little bit of ruby color. I feel like it is more violet than blue color, so it has a little bit of warmth, and I add it here. I will take a smaller paintbrush. Here I have kind of mid-tone and it is warmer. I will take some blue color and with burnt sienna. It is kind of gray color that we have here, and I haven't noticed it earlier. To remove these edges, I will take plain water. I intensify here the color of the shadow. And here it is super dark. But here I will add some violet color, or even I will remove a little bit, sorry. Here I will add some burnt sienna with blue. Here is burnt sienna with ultramarine blue color. I added intensity in the shadow here in front of us, and I left it to dry a while. Meanwhile, I was doing this rock. Pay attention how I was painting it. I painted some warmer color like burnt sienna and ultramarine color, and then I used ultramarine color with ruby color and added a cooler color, more blue color in the shadow. The same I will do with snowballs, that here I said rock, but it is a snowball. Here another snowballs that we have. We have lots of those here. I will add and we have the layering shadow. For the layering shadow we will use only ultramarine color. For this mix of ultramarine and ruby I will add more ultramarine to create the shadow. The shadow is the layering shadow is usually cooler and darker. More ultramarine. On the snowballs I will add some more ultramarine color. And that's it, the work is done. Thank you for watching this Patreon class.